Hilchos Mechira Perek Chof Ches. Ha'imr lechaveri beis kor ofar ani meicher lecha. V'yeh b'sech hasades gei oyo is k'taring mamukim. Asar atvachim alfa b'sheim b'hem mayim b'sleim gavei masrat. M'tvochim. Ein nimdadim b'chal hakor. If somebody tells a person, I'm selling you a parcel of earth, fit to sow a kor. The land contains small hollows that are 10 tvachim deep, even if they do not contain water or rocks that are 10 tvachim high. They're not included in the above measure. A person does not want to pay money for a parcel of land and have it appear as 2 or 3 parcels. Purchaser acquires these rocks and hollows as part of the parcel of land fit to sow a kor without paying for them. The hollows of the rocks are swelled and 10 tvachim, and they are measured together with the remainder of the field. When together the area of all the rocks and the hollows was no more than the area necessary to sow 4 kavim, I was contained within the area where at least 5 kavim could be sown. I was contained within the majority of the field. If the area of the rocks and the hollows is more than the area necessary to sow the 4 kavim, that area is very spread out, or it's contained within a lesser area than one in which the 5 kavim can be sown, they are not included in the measure of the field, even if they are not 10 tvachim high or deep. If the majority of the area necessary to sow 4 kavim is contained in a small portion of the field. Small portion of the area necessary to sow 4 kavim is contained in the majority of the field. The rocks are in this straight line, in a circle, a triangle. They're in the shape of a star or a jagged line. In all these instances, because of the suffix involved, we follow the principle: one who desires to take money from a friend must prove his contention. If there's earth on top and a rock beneath, or a rock on top and earth beneath, there's a suffix and with the above principle. If there was a large rock, even it's only as large as the area necessary to sow a quarter of a kav, it's not measured. If the rock is next to the border of the field, even if it's a very small, it's not included in the measurement. Hifsik, offer, and Salametz, there is a suffix. If there is some earth between the rock and the boundary, there is a suffix. When the seller tells the purchaser, selling a parcel of area like the area of a so kor, even if the hollows are 10 tvachim or more, or that there are stones or more handless, they're included in the measure. Hey, person tells a friend, I'm selling you a parcel of earth fit to sow a kor, as measured with a rope. The measurement must be exact. The land is even slightly small, the purchaser may reduce the payment proportionally. If it's even slightly larger, the extra amount should be returned to the seller. Almar base kor for the as a Gmisha Pish from a base kor for bin Chaser ben Yasser, and the seller tells the purchaser, I'm selling you a parcel of earth fit to sow a kor. It's as if he said approximately a parcel of earth is fit. So a kor perhaps being pachas min amida echad marba v'esrim shurei v'lacholso ahisher kachrei v'lacholso igiyah yesra al kin yachshav imay al kol ha'aravoyim kodesh v'chosher yisifu. The measure is only 24 less fourth of a kav for each parcel of earth fit to sow a sow. It's considered to be the terms of the original agreement. If the deviation is larger than that, you should calculate the amount due to the parcel of the land fit to sow a fourth of kav that are either lacking or additional. You should deduct for the price of the entire amount that is less than the parcel of earth necessary to sow a kor, and make restitution to sell for everything that is more than the amount. What should the restitution be said? What should restitution be made for the seller? If If this additional amount is less than the area of fit to sow 9 kabim, so purchaser should return to the seller the percentage of the price paid at the time of the sale. If the extra portion from the land, so first of all, it's done to strengthen the possession of the seller. If the extra portion of land is located next to another field belonging to the seller, the purchaser should return to the land itself. The seller can include within the other fields and will not suffer any loss. Basically, the if the additional amount is more than the area fit to sow 9 kabim, the purchaser should return to the seller a fourth of a kav for each parcel of each fit to sow the saw. The remainder, besides 3/4 of kav parcels in the area fit to sow 9 kabim, the purchaser should give the seller these fourths of kav parcels and additional land. If the seller does not desire the land, the purchaser has the option of paying the seller according to the price at the time of the purchase. Where the land was inexpensive at the time of the sale, rose in value at the time of the restitution being made. However, the land was expensive and decreased in value. We tell the purchaser, if he desire, pay him the entire additional amount, giving him the price at the time of the sale. Desire to give him land, give him according to the present value. The laws that apply to an area fit to sow 9 kabim in a field apply to an area fit to sow half a kabim in a garden. If there is less than half a kabim additional to the fourths of a kabim of each parcel worth fit to sow, so the purchaser is required only to return the money. There's an additional half kabim the purchaser should pay for all the additional fourths and the extra amount to return the land to him, even if its price decreased at the time of its being returned. When a person sells a field and it becomes a garden wall in possession of the purchaser, or he sells a garden and becomes a field, has a suffix, it's a suffix in there's a suffix whether the law determined according to the state at the time of the sale or immediate state. When a person tells a friend, I'm selling you a parcel worth fit to sow a cor. I'm selling you a parcel of earth fit to sow a cor as measured with a rope, perhaps more, perhaps less. Or if he says, I'm selling you a parcel of earth fit to sow a cor, perhaps more, perhaps less, or measured with a rope, one should follow the less committing of the implication. The purchaser does not receive more according to the principle. When a person desires to take property from a friend, the burden of proof is on him whether the seller's statement is supply more or less. If a person sells a friend a parcel of land fit to sow a cor and states signs and boundaries for it that are 6 less or 6 more than are fit to sow a cor, the sale is binding. If it is less than the amount of more than the 6, the seller must subtract from the sum the purchaser pays. If the field was more than a 6, or the purchaser should give him either money or land as appropriate to the extra money. The extra amount was less than the area for the sow 9 kabim in the field, less than the area for the sow half a kabim in a garden, and it was not located next to the field belonging to the seller, the purchaser should return the appropriate amount of money. A person sells a friend a field with which the friend is familiar and knows its boundaries. Even if he tells him the measurement is 200 and in truth it's 150, sale is binding, for he knew the field and accepted it. By saying it's measured 200, he was stressing its importance, as if he had said, it has a valuable as a field that is 200 in measure. When a person tells a friend, I'm selling you this and this parcel of land fit to sow a cor, even though when measured as fit to sow only a letach, sale is binding. So the machal elamokam nikra base car for he sold him a place that was called fit. Basically, the fikas tzarcham mikra lavi rayish nikra base car. For this reason, the seller must bring proof that the parcel land is called fit to sow a car. V'chein ayim lechavei kenem shali. V'kampleni amreich lecha afal pishin b'kfanim igiu u'shikren isei kenem. Person tells a friend, I'm selling you my vineyard in this place. Even if there are no vines in the land, the sale is binding, provided the place is described as a vineyard. Person tells a friend, I'm selling you this orchard, even if there's no pomegranates in the land, the sale is binding, providing the place is described as an orchard. He called all the above rules apply only to a place where there's no prevailing custom. We follow when there's a prevailing local custom, the custom should be followed. We follow the implied meaning of the expression we use by the majority of the local people.
Hilchos Mechira, chapter 29. Aleph. There are three types of individuals whose purchase is not considered a binding purchase. Minatedo. Now, the Chachamim made a takana that a deaf mute and a minor may buy and sell in order to guarantee the livelihood. How does a deaf buy and sell? So these people may buy and sell through gestures, but not with karka. Even with regards to movable property, his deeds are not binding until he has been tested many times, and this matter is considered thoroughly by the court. Different rules apply with regards to a mute who can hear but cannot speak, or someone who has lost the ability to speak. Neither a sale nor a purchase involving a mentally incapable, emotionally unstable individual is binding. Like somebody, let's say, is epileptic. That's when he's normal, it works. Witness the transaction must reach the matter. Perhaps the transaction was concluded at the conclusion of a period of mental stability or when he's unstable. Until he is 6 years old, he may not transfer property to others at all. Until from the age and up, he should be tested. If he possesses an understanding of the nature of the financial transactions any purchase or sale he undertakes, it's good. This is midrabanan. Instead of the minor will not be forced to remain idle without finding anyone to sell or buy it from him. When it comes to minor property, you cannot sell it or give property away until he attains maturity. Regarding this desire to approve a purchase or sale or present or movable property, it's binding. Halacha ches. Boitkin esakotan. Imi idea betiv maso matan or any idea of vishish chacham. Now, we test a minor to see or not whether or not he possesses an understanding of the nature of financial transaction. But there are minors who are wise and understand such matters even at the age of 7, and there are those who don't understand financial transactions even at the age of 13. Test. If a kinyan suda was made with a cotton or a purchaser, or the purchaser rents the place on which the movable property was located and the cotton retracted, the purchaser does not acquire the movable property. Property cannot be taken from a cotton through legal process, and a kinyan established by a cotton means nothing. For a kinyan depends on legal documents, and a witness will not sign a legal document unless the parties involved are above the age of maturity. Yud. If a Katan purchased movable property and sought to finalize their transaction with a Kinyan Sudar, or by renting the place where the movable property was located, he does not acquire the movable property. He does not acquire the movable property until he performs Mashicha. As far as that he cannot acquire property using any of the legal processes that are used for an adult. The proof is that the fact that a male minor does not acquire by virtue of the presence of property in the courtyard, nor by virtue of the presence of the property within the radius of the 4 amas. Okay, so just to retract early, it's improper that a king is stood in a rental of that place where property is located should be more effective than the acquisition of property by virtue of its presence in one courtyard. Different rules apply with regards to a female minor. She's given the right to acquire property by virtue of its presence in her courtyard as an extension of her physical person. Therefore, she may finalize the acquisition of movable property with a king sudar by renting the place where the movable property is located. If you don't leash a cotton, she can't cark when doesn't double the hefty bekarka tam the other apple piece in cotton bekarka klum. Shall cotton commission peninu who was often not shall be fun of it and coven them shall be fun of. It appears to me that when a minor acquires landed property, pays its price, and manifests possession over the property, it should remain in his possession despite the fact that he cannot sell property. As far as that, it's as if the minor were not in our presence. As we follow the principle, we may acquire a benefit for a person outside his presence, but we cannot cause a loss for a person outside his presence. You base cotton shake the baby azacher stay cyrus acher shleisha say shana vabas acher shtemesre shana shtemesre alpha bishe any idea betiv maso matan mikhem mikach mimkar mimkar matanas matanav metalton. When a minor attains maturity, in other words, a male over 13 years old and a female over 12, they have signs of physical maturity. Any purchase, sale, or present of movable property that he or she undertakes is binding. This applies even if he or she does not possess any understanding of the nature of the physical transactions. Landed property, his deeds are not effective unless he is past maturity and possesses an understanding of the nature of financial transactions. So with regards to his own property, with regards to landed property that he inherited from his parents or from other deceased persons, his sale of the land is not effective until he's 20 years old. This applies even though he has manifested signs of physical maturity and possesses an understanding of the nature of physical transactions. As far as unless the youth sell the land cheap because he likes money and he has not become settled within the ordinary worldly ways. When a youth below the age of 20 gives a present of landed property, whether he gives it while healthy or as part of a distribution of his property in an oral will, he is binding. Rational is that unless he receives significant benefit, he would not have given it. This is something which is not very common. Let his present endure, so that his words will be heeded. When does the license of a youth to sell the property inherited from his father after he reaches 20 apply? When he has manifested signs of physical maturity and manifested signs of being sterile. If, however, he did not manifest signs of physical maturity, he is still considered a cotton, and the sale of landed property that he makes is not binding. Even with regard to property that he acquires himself until he reaches the age of 35. When a youth sells landed property that he either purchased or inherited and then he dies, and the Yarsha maintain that he was a minor at the time of the sale, if they seek to have an examination made, we do not listen to the desire to debase his remains. Moreover, it's questionable whether the examination would be of any value because the appearance of these physical signs changes at the time of death. A further rationale to accept the validity of sale is that we accept the chazaka that witnesses would not sign a deed of sale unless they knew with certainty that the seller had attained maturity. And Kedem Esrim ben Achar Esrim. Wait me out of call up here Shachal. Wait to tell you Shanata Vizara. Shamalay Masters are shark and Nazar here of Basi. And the Amish Afilo caught the Shamacha Karka Minichse. Alvik Shanas ben Esrim le Micha and Yochel Hauser. Shkim Shalaka Hamas, which Tamash Lakech Bekaka Zulafanav, should ben Esrim le Micha and Skami the Lakech Shari Rasim Kedev. When a youth who is below the age of 20 sells property that he inherited, he may take it from the purchaser whether before the age of 20 or after the age of 20. When he takes the property, he may also take the value of all the produce of the property that the purchaser has consumed. If the purchaser undertook expenses or planted or sowed, reevaluate the amount due to him, but he must return the remainder. This is the way my masters have ruled. I maintain that even if a minor sells property that he inherited, if he does not protest immediately after he becomes 20, he is no longer able to protest. As far as that since the seller took the money and the purchaser used the land with his consent, after he attained the age of 20 without his protest, the acquisition of the property by the purchaser is confirmed because the seller showed his appreciation of the sale. A drunken man is considered to be responsible for his actions. A sale or purchase or present involving him is binding. If he comes so drunk, like late, he's so drunk that he does not realize what he's doing, then it's nothing. Then nothing. He's like a considered mentally competent person or child below the age of 6.
Hilchos Mechira, chapter 30, last halachas of this perek. When a person sells landed property or movable property to a friend and someone acquires the property on the purchaser's behalf without the purchaser's knowledge, the option is given to the purchaser. Purchaser desires to acquire the property, the seller cannot retract. If the purchaser does not desire to acquire the property returns to his original owner. A deed of sale can be written for a seller even when the purchaser is not present. Purchaser, however, is always required to pay the scribe's fee. This applies even if a person sells his field because it's of inferior quality. When a county servant buys or sells property, or whether he gives a present or a present is given to him, the option is given to the servant's owner. If he desires to perpetuate the servant's acts are binding. If the master does not grant his consent, the servant's acts are nullified entirely. The master may perpetuate or nullify the servant's act with a merely a verbal statement. Is not necessarily that it confirms his decision of the king. Similarly, when a woman sells or gives a present, whether her property belongs to her husband, property defined by Nifse Barzel, that she brought to him property that he designated for her in her marriage contract, or property defined as Nifse Lake, whether a landed property, movable property, the option is given to her husband. The ruling also applies if she purchases property or she is given a present. If her husband desires to perpetuate the transfer, it is binding. Desires to nullify it is nullified. Different laws apply when a husband sells or gives away property to which his wife shares the connection. Land that she brought to him that was recorded in her marriage contract, land that he designated for her is considered of goods she has brought to the marriage, or property that he designated for her, even her marriage contract. Even though the purchaser has the woman confirm her husband's deed with the kinyan, whatever he has done is nullified because she may rationalize her actions, saying, I did it only to generate satisfaction to my husband. The husband sold or gave her a present where the landed property will property the option is granted to the woman. If she desires to nullify the sale, she may. However, she confirms her husband's action, the purchaser acquires the property. Hey, Baal Shemachol Metal Shadif Tzain Barzel Metal Pifaslam Shalaf Bishain Rashi Mover Lachar Nasan Ukana Lakichas and Ishi Khela Hitzim Yodo. When a husband sells movable property that is classified to be Nifsit Tzain Barzel, or movable property that he gave his husband from his own property, although he does not have the right to do so, transgressions and sells or gives away such property is acquired by the purchaser, and the wife may not take it away. The husband has the right to sell all his property, even though it's under lien to his wife's marriage contract. If she is later granted the right to take the property, she will take it. It applies unless she wrote a disclaimer for the purchaser and confirmed with the king. When a woman sells or gives Hilchos Mechira to her husband, he does not acquire the property. Instead, she may take it from him, as explained in Hilchos Mechira. Based in Ben Shimino Isim Avi Yisemim, when the Beis Din sells or purchases a property on behalf of orphans, whether landed property or movable property, both the purchase and sale are binding. If, however, it gives the orphan's property away as a present, the gift means nothing. As far as that a person may not give away something that does not belong to him. Same principle applies with regards to an orphan's guardian, whether a guardian appointed by the court or one appointed by the orphan's father for the death. When a person sells or gives away property on Shabbos, needless to say on the Yom Tiv, although he is punished Makas Mardis, his deeds are binding. Similarly, when a person enters in Tekinya Chalip on the Shabbos, the king is binding. After the Shabbos, a legal record may be composed. The property is transferred. B'dich Achalon, the sign, blessed be Hashem who grants assistance.